What's up? What's up? Welcome to the market recap. Today is November 6th, 2025. So, no video for me yesterday. I didn't really trade. I didn't have anything on watch. I did a scan, look for anything. I didn't really see anything that was super clean. The only kind of trade I potentially saw was on CAD yen. I think it was like a 1 hour CBO, but the 10-minute time frame didn't quite fit. Like it was there, but it was kind of odd. But ultimately, the trade would have played out. So, but it is what it is. I'm looking for clean trades. Tonight, however, I have a good bit on watch. So I have three groups. I have a dollar group, I have a CAD group, and I have an Aussie group. So starting with the dollar group, the primary I have out of this group is dollar yen. It has kind of the three time frame alignments I typically look for. So it's a 1 hour CBO, right? Like we had this on watch earlier in the week for an IBO right here, and it never really pulled back to give an entry. It kind of just played out, but it never really got the CBO, right? Like it kind of just broke back up, retested the highs again, and now it's broken back down. So we have a slightly lower low, but it is a lower low, right? So a pullback kind of to the pivot area. You have a little bit of horizontal support in here with the previous highs here. Also lines up with our 4 hour 50 for a CBO. So 1 hour CBO, a 4 hour IBO. Nice kind of break of the 4 hour 50 and a retest there. 10-minute will be an ACB with a pullback to the 10-minute 200 EMA, and that's what I'm looking to take the trade off of. I'm looking for kind of a rejection of that. If not, if price starts to stall close to this, I would entertain taking the trade, but preferably I'm looking for it to reject that EMA. So, which that EMA currently lines up with like the 1 hour 50. So we'll see how this continues to develop. But out of all the dollar pairs, I think this is probably the cleanest one. The rest of the dollar pairs, dollar HUF is a similar kind of vibe. Granted, dollar yen, has this kind of nice bullish trend and needs a pullback to like the daily 50. So you have tons of room to move here. Unlike dollar HUF, I mean, you could still say it fits a similar vibe. It could pull back, come to the previous lows, form like a daily double bottom, and then get a true reversal, or it could just retest these kind of 1 hour lows. Either way, it does fit for a kind of CBO play. It does need a rather large pullback, though, so don't know. It's an option. I just think dollar yen's cleaner. But this is like a CBO on your 1 hour, and it's also a CBO on the 4 hour, and it would be an ACB on the 10-minute. It's there, but it's kind of weird. And then there's the rest of these dollar pairs for the most part. Like dollar Swiss could be an IBO, right, with a pullback. This kind of breakdown looks a little odd, though, so it depends what it looks like with a pullback. I think the cleaner trade would probably be is if price just continues going down and then it hits the 4 hour 50, so the 1 hour 200, lines up with S1. And it has like some kind of nice support there. So I think this could be an interesting play. Like this is wave one and then play a wave two pullback kind of situation. And that's what like dollar Swiss is, dollar Singapore, similar vibes. Dollar PLN is technically already sitting at that level. So it's like you could trade this now, but your pivot's in the way, which is not, the perfection I'm looking for. Pound dollar, very similar. It's already sitting at the 1 hour 200, but again, the kind of the pivot's in the way. Because typically to position size these, I'm looking to, like in this case, it'd be a short. I'm looking for roughly 1 fib distance apart. So it'd be about a 15 pip position, 30 pips target. So this starts to become a little hard to execute. I don't know, it starts to get kind of tight. So I think it's still an option, it's still a possibility. But I would prefer to take a WTF like this, like this wave two kind of trade off dollar Swiss. I think dollar Swiss would probably be the cleanest if it pulls back completely because it lines up with the pivots and all the other levels nicely. And you can get a good kind of position size and a stop loss to take it back up. But I'll be watching the pound dollar, euro dollar. They're, I think, the two first up on this potential wave 2 play, since they are sitting at EMAs and they are sitting at resistance. Euro dollar looks a little cleaner just to the fact that it's sitting at these previous 4-hour lows as well. So, you have support, which is now resistance. It's just the pivot don't line up that well. It's the only thing I don't love about the trade. So, and then on the CAD group, I have pound CAD as a primary. I don't really have any issues with this. Looks pretty clean, right? So you have kind of wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, or you could just call this all wave 1. This is wave 2, and it's wave 3. So it's either a wave 3 or wave 5 CBO. Either way, it fits. It's also a 4-hour IBO. And then with the pullback, it'll be a 10-minute ACB. So it has a 3 time frame alignments I'm looking for, 3 different strategies. Daily time frame wise, you're bouncing up the daily 200, a nice kind of bullish engulfing candle. Looks good. DDP for the day, bullish. And then we have the 3 time frames we're looking for. Looks good. I don't really have any qualms with this trade. I like it. CAD Swiss is a 1-hour CBO as well. But instead of being a 4-hour IBO, it's also a 4-hour CBO, which isn't a problem, right? Daily time frame looks all right. Pretty much have to pull back to daily 50, stalled, rejected, now broke down. So with a kind of a bearish engulfing candle. So DDP for the day, short, looking for a pullback to the pivot, 0.382, the EMAs. We're kind of a 2-to-1 target. The potential pullback, I mean, you could say it will go to these kind of 4-hour lows right here, right? That line up with S1. So that's really the kind of like first target, as well as they line up with these previous highs on the 4-hour time frame pretty nicely. So looks all right. I think pound CAD is cleaner, but this is also a very valid option and could be flagged as a primary for sure. EuroCAD I also have flagged. It's not super clean. I kind of deflagged it after I've been looking at it. Both EuroCAD, EuroAussie are very similar. I think they're options, but they need some pretty deep pullbacks. So I've left them on the list to keep an eye on them, but it's probably not something I'm going to trade. For the Aussie group, pound Aussie is another primary for me. So very similar to pound CAD, right? Just clean kind of, this is more so a wave 1 breakout. So this will be a wave 3 CBO on your 1-hour time frame. It's a IBO on the 4-hour, and with a pullback, it'll be an ACB on the 10-minute time frame, with plenty of room to move to your daily EMAs. The only kind of negative is if we pull back from here, we'll be rejecting these previous lows on a daily time frame. So, but if we get a good sized pullback that we're looking for to roughly between 0.382 and 0.5 fib, we'll be able to get a pretty nice position size that our target will nearly be at the previous highs again. So I like it. Very similar to pound CAD, but all in all, pretty clean. Don't really have too many qualms about it, other than potentially an issue with our target with this 4-hour low right there. Aussie Swiss, again, similar to CAD Swiss, right? I think CAD Swiss is probably cleaner than Aussie Swiss in this situation. The EMAs don't line up all that well in your 4-hour time frame. This almost looks like a break and a retest and a follow through on the daily, rather than a rejection here on CAD Swiss, right? So I think CAD Swiss definitely would be a primary over Aussie Swiss, but Aussie Swiss is still same vibe, same kind of concept as CAD Swiss. Yeah, but a secondary. And then really the last pair is this kind of Aussie PLN. Now spread wise right now, this isn't a tradable pair for me. It's 5 o'clock, so it's an hour past market rollover currently, and spreads will continue to tighten. So I'm pretty sure this is a tradable pair for me. I just don't know when it becomes tradable. I'm going to assume it's during Asia because it is an Aussie pair, like Asia or London. But it does have similar kind of vibes set up to like Aussie Swiss or CAD Swiss, right? Same kind of price action. This double CBO thing on the 4 hour, 1 hour, same kind of break and retest, bearish candle here on your daily. But yeah, it looks pretty similar to Aussie Swiss. They just need a deeper pullback than Aussie Swiss would. So, and then Euro Aussie, like I said, very similar to Euro CAD, right? Dailies are pretty similar. 4 hours are similar. 1 hours are similar. They need some decent sized pullbacks. So I've deflagged them both, but I'll continue to watch them, see what they look like as they pull back, because I'm trying to give myself as many options as I can tonight. I had my one trade from like Monday, that Aussie yen that I mismanaged, that should have been a profitable trade, but wasn't. And then I've not really been able to find anything else to trade this week. And I know that I need to take anywhere from like 3 to 5 trades a week to kind of hit my targets that I'm after. So the aim tonight is, if possible, to take probably, 2 trades. There's definitely enough here to do that. Definitely have the options. It'll just more so be like how quickly some of these can play out, because I really can only get into one trade at a time, just due from a leverage perspective. So hence why I've kind of left these Euro pairs on here, because if I'm able to execute one of these other pairs and get out of it, and something else is able to pull back and looks clean enough to take, I want to have the option to entertain it. So, but yeah, primarily looking for pound Aussie, pound CAD, and dollar yen for this upcoming session. So, and if I had to rank them in order, I don't know. It's tough between, I would prefer pound Aussie, pound CAD over dollar yen. I know that much. I want to say I prefer pound Aussie over pound CAD, just because I like this price action on the 1 hour time frame, like price consolidate, and you have this clear wave 1 break, versus pound CAD, price kind of broke the 1 hour 50 and then broke back below, and then it kind of came here and retest, and now has broken out. It's just not as clean of a, price deceleration and then break that pound Aussie is. It's just the negative is that it's hitting this kind of support / resistance. So anyways, that's all I got, and I'll catch you guys next week. See you.